Managing CHF at home is one of the most important things you can do to prevent symptoms and stay out of the hospital. I'm Danielle. I'm a registered nurse, and I've cared for many cardiac patients in the hospital, including heart failure. And I always tell my patients that there are 4 main things you should focus on at home to have the best outcome: your medications, your diet, monitoring your symptoms, and exercise. The goal of all of this is to keep the fluid from building up and to catch problems early. So let's go through each of these, plus a few other important things to keep in mind, including when I would encourage a trip to the ER. So first, take your medications exactly as prescribed. Don't stop them on your own, and always call your doctor before making any changes. And if you miss a dose, don't double up. Call your doctor or pharmacist if you're not sure what to do. Now, I know diuretics can be frustrating. They make for a lot of trips to the bathroom, and for some people, they may worsen incontinence issues. But they are very important. They help prevent fluid buildup, symptoms, and extra strain on your heart and lungs. There are some situations where you should call your doctor, though, because they may need to adjust your medications. For example, if you're having signs of dehydration, like dizziness, a dry mouth, or not urinating much. Or if you have blood pressure that is consistently low, like below 90/60, or consistently higher than your normal, especially if it's over 150/90. Next is diet. For most people with CHF, this means limiting sodium to less than 2 grams or 2,000 milligrams per day. And a lot of people don't realize that most sodium comes from packaged and restaurant foods, not the salt shaker. Some patients are also told to limit fluids, but not everyone needs this. If your doctor recommends it, it's usually around 1.5 to 2 liters per day. And that includes anything that turns into liquid: water, coffee, soup, ice cream. It all counts. Now, this is one of the most important parts: monitoring your symptoms. Start with your daily weight. Weigh yourself every morning, using the same scale, wearing the same clothes, after you use the bathroom, and before you eat or drink anything. When you're feeling well and don't have any swelling, you're probably at your dry weight. What you're watching for is any change from that baseline. And this part is really important. Rapid weight gain is almost always fluid, not fat. So write your weight down every day and compare it. If you gain about 2 to 3 pounds in a day, call your doctor. Even if it's more gradual, if you're up to 5 pounds in a week, you should still call. You can use a notebook, a calendar, or my free trackers, but the most important thing is don't wait for symptoms. Call based on the weight change alone. Your doctor can often make adjustments early and help keep you out of the hospital. You should also check your blood pressure daily. A good routine is to check it after your weight and before your medications. Sit quietly for a few minutes before you take it. Write it down in the same place as your weight. The goal here is to learn what's normal for you and watch for patterns over time, because one number by itself isn't as important as a trend. Your daily weigh-in is also a great time to do a quick mental check for symptoms. Ask yourself, are you more short of breath than usual? Are your shoes, belt, or rings feeling tighter? Are you getting tired doing things that used to be easy? If all this sounds like a lot to keep track of, it really helps to have everything in one place. That's why I created a daily CHF manager and a weekly CHF tracker that gives you a place to record your weight, your blood pressure, and your symptoms all together. It even includes a place to track your daily sodium and fluid intake. That way you can see patterns over time, catch changes early, and hopefully stay out of the hospital. You can also bring it all with you to your doctor's appointments. Both trackers are free and available through a link in the description below. Next is exercise. Regular movement helps your body use oxygen more efficiently and improves your endurance. Do what you can. Even small amounts make a difference. Start slow and build gradually. And stop and rest if you feel short of breath, dizzy, or have any chest discomfort. A few other things to keep in mind. If your doctor prescribes oxygen, use it as directed, especially during activity or sleep. Not everyone with heart failure needs oxygen, but it can be helpful if your levels are low or if breathing is difficult. Don't adjust your oxygen settings unless your doctor tells you to. And don't stop using it just because you feel better. If you smoke, quitting is one of the best things you can do. It puts extra strain on your heart. Make sure you're getting your regular blood work. This helps monitor your kidney function and electrolytes, especially if you're on diuretics. And finally, lean on your support system. This isn't something you have to manage alone. Family, friends, caregivers, this is a long-term condition and support really does matter. There are also times when you shouldn't wait to call your doctor. You should go straight to the ER. That includes severe shortness of breath at rest, chest pain, fainting or near fainting, confusion, rapid worsening swelling, or suddenly needing to sleep upright or use more pillows to breathe. I hope this video gives you a little more confidence managing your heart failure at home. If you still have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Or if you'd like more personalized help, you can request a one-on-one consult at the email listed in the description. You'll also find links to my free printable trackers and the blood pressure cuff and scale that I recommend. My next video will be about understanding your ejection fraction. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.